Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Hey everybody, it's Joe back here at Giga Texas on the 2nd of August 2024, and it's also a Friday, which means that not a lot of production's going on, although there is some activity over at the west lot and also at the southwest corner of the factory. Now, just a couple of things I want to talk about in the intro really quickly, and then we'll get into the video. First of all, yesterday was Franz Von Holzhausen's 16th anniversary at Tesla, and for those that know, he is responsible for the design of all of the vehicles. So his work is seen every day when you see a Tesla. And I just want to quote from him. He said, 16 years ago today, I joined Tesla. Amazing what the team has accomplished. So many more exciting things to come. And of course, Elon Musk replied, good to have you as a partner in making Tesla what it is today. So I just want to pass on my congratulations to Franz for an outstanding career so far, and I hope for many years to come. Now, another big milestone that has happened for Tesla is they have hit their 10 millionth drive unit produced across all their factories worldwide. And they have this short video clip I thought I would share with you to kind of document what they've accomplished. Also, pay attention, there's some pretty neat drone shots of Giga Texas in this video as well.
It is the first 10 million moment for Tesla. It is made by our global team.
Hitting 10 million is a real inspiration to all of us. Drive units really changed. It was coming from a hole in the ground of dirt. We were building them one at a time, figuring out material flow, to now where we're operating 5 lines simultaneously and ramping to much more.
When I started, it was really hard. I'm really proud of the process we've made. From the time we started, we were struggling to make 100 units a day. It's really an amazing job.
New product, new process, new team. During this process, what has grown was not only our products, it's also the team and every member.
The drive unit that we produce today is awesome. We've expanded from one vehicle to many, including our Cybertruck and our semi-truck. And it's more cost effective.
We create the production systems for every drive unit in all of our products and in every factory worldwide. We've worked with our global teams to continue to bring forth fresh new ideas, and the results of these efforts are very evident in our factories today. I'm incredibly proud of the teams that brought us to this milestone.
This milestone belongs not only to Tesla employees, it also belongs to everyone who believes in the sustainable future.
So again, congratulations to Tesla on 10 million drive units. I know this is just the beginning, and also this is an indication of the ability to continue their production well into the future, especially as they continue to fit out more of their factories like here at Giga Texas to expand their production lines. So without any further ado, congratulations to Franz, congratulations to Tesla. Let's get in the drone, let's fly around and see what Giga Texas looks like here on Friday, the 2nd of August, 2024.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, it may be hard to believe, but it's August 2024 already, and And a lot of activity still here on this Friday, even though production is, for the most part, a down day, but there is resumed and continued construction here on the south end. It's a great view of this southwest corner, the grade work that is continuing, and it looks like they are raising the grade in this particular location with more gravel and dirt infill. A good view of this opening where it may be another entranceway, and that's something I'm continuing to monitor. And of course, this new parking spaces for the Cybertrucks. They also have some chargers in this location as well. Now today I noticed that these were being driven back into General Assembly, so perhaps there are some final things that they need to work on before they are able to go to the west outbound lot. We also see a white wrapped Cybertruck at the bottom in the middle of the rest of the Cybertrucks parked on that west side. More by this trailer. A good view up to the north along the west side of General Assembly, and a few more Cybertrucks kind of exiting the factory, and as I had mentioned before, some going right back in. So maybe some makeup work or just fixing up some of the items that they needed to do from yesterday's production, since again today is a production down day. You can see the trench work underneath this mezzanine level. This is so far a mezzanine level to nowhere. I'm kind of curious to see if they'll open up that wall to the left, similar to what they did on the third floor. And is a good view of all of the materials and the activity inside here. I will zoom in, give you a good view of what is going on. And some of the vehicles give you a sense of scale as well. A lot of ductwork and deliveries in wooden crates. On the second floor, a lot of the pipe work, temporary pumping systems. It looks like some of the heat exchangers may be being used here right now. And in the open section coming into the center part of the screen is where we can see those brown large water pipes extending through the factory to the east side. And a good view of that mezzanine level with some plastic temporary walls being installed. And we can see right through the factory here on the second floor. On the first floor, they are continuing to do grade work and other preparation around that tunnel so that it can be operational. And as we'll see on the west side, many, if not all, of the road surface liners have been installed. So a great view here of the second floor, looking through the glass on the right-hand side of the screen, and the continued work here on this floor. So as I zoom out, we're going to fly around the southwest corner, and we'll take a look at some of the tunnels that are being constructed on the south side. Rebar and formwork on the closest tunnel exit point here at the bottom of the screen. A lot of the rebar cages and formwork on the ground, and a good view of the poured concrete center tunnel. They have the forms and rebar for the roof section, and this is how it looks today. Now, I believe that these are emergency exits. There will be 3 of them, and this is predominantly for foot traffic. So in other words, for people. It won't be for equipment or vehicles coming out of the factory. And I think this is associated with that supercomputer cluster. It may be part of the code that requires the site to have suitable exit points and emergency access points for this area. Here's the third one, still getting rebar. They have that kind of that liner material on the mud base underneath the rebar, and we can see the forms. So continued progress here on the south end. As we take a look at the southeast corner, there is a work truck spraying water onto the soil. This helps with compacting and also keeping the dust down, and most of the materials have been moved away. As we get closer in, there is more of the steel corrugated pipe installation for part of the water management system visible here in the middle. It looks like they're doing some trenching around that area. As I zoom in, a good look at the manifolds with those very large brown pipes. Some of the other kind of pipe segments on the right in black, and a lot of the equipment being installed along with the conduit on the right-hand side of the screen. As I turn back to the main factory, I'll keep it zoomed in, give you a good view on the ground floor. The red valve units have been delivered, and those will be assembled most likely in the middle of the screen where you see the manifold and the valves coming up out of the floor. And we can see the round water pipes on that platform on the bottom left. Here's a good view of the second floor and how the interior walls, some of the piping, and it looks like temporary air conditioning units along with some of the equipment that is being disassembled or at least unpacked for assembly. We can see there's a lot of activity on the roof. I will come back here in a moment and give you a much closer view. But right now I wanted to pull away and give an overall view of this south end and the factory and how it looks today. Here's a closer view of the cooling plant from the east looking to the west. We also see the extension and how it looks from this vantage point. All 6 of the fan units and motors are installed. The electronics on the ground floor plus some additional pumping stations and plumbing have been installed or in the process of being installed. The 4 tanks and of course the wall units that are around those tanks. Here's a good view of the lined pond as it looks today with some gravel around the berms for traffic to have access to that point. Also the materials and the workshops on the section in the middle left where the glass company has their operations for the moment. Good view of that pond with the green belt and trees around it. The east clearing next to the multi-level parking garage. And as I maneuver around, this gives you a good view of the north side of that parking garage. Vehicles are using it, of course, it's a down day, so not as many today, but this is definitely being utilized. Good view of the east side looking to the south along this road, which we now know is Cyber Circle. And the way I know that is the street sign, as you can see with the blow up here, is Cyber Circle and Autonomy Street, which runs along the north side of the parking garage. So we now are getting to get a good view of all of the streets and what they are named around the site. This is a look at the ducting and some of the final work on that opening for the server room cooling unit on top of body in white. The conduit and piping and racks along the parapet wall that go along that angled section. A good look at the cooling plant and the work on the ground as that takes shape. And here is a close-up that I promised you of the work on the roof section here on the southwest side. Now, this is where the building used to end. You can see the original concrete walls on the right. Also the fire break wall, the shorter one next to it, and then how they have moved the material away so that they can do a nice seam and make sure that the weatherproofing is contiguous through this area. Plus another look at the insulation over the supercomputer cluster part of the factory. As we fly up over Cyberpond and towards the South Bridge, we'll go ahead and get onto the other side of the highway and we'll resume the flight from there. I wanted just to give you a good view of that trapezoidal shape or the triangular shape on the upper left where they are doing all that work on the ground. Not a lot of changes today, so instead I'm going to come down and look at the concrete liners that are part of the roadway surface for the boring tunnel. And this is how this part of the staging yard looks today. And a lot of the tunnel segments have been started to be moved off site, and we can see the shoring where they used to stack them until recently. As I get closer to the main tunnel site itself, I'll give you another zoom in. We'll take a look at some of the materials and the activity that is going on here on this exit point. And as I maneuver closer to the tunnel, just trying to give you a good view of those roadway surfaces, the gravel mix that comes right up to it, and how this part of the tunnel looks. Again, most of the work seems to be right now on the interior of the south extension where the exit point for the tunnel is. So it looks like maybe that's where the priorities are for right now. And we'll continue to monitor to see what they do on this part of the tunnel. I still think that they're going to need to do some sort of facing structure to finish this off for use before the first Cybertrucks will drive through it. So as I maneuver the drone around again, it's just a good close-in view of what the boring site on the west side looks like today. It's a nice view of downtown Austin over the outbound lot today, and also a view of the south superchargers. On the left, we can tell that more of those light poles have been brought to that dirt section, so maybe we'll see those installed once we get the paving on that part of the site. It's a great view of the outbound lot, how it looks today. Many Cybertrucks have been stored here on the north side, along with some of the Model Ys. And it seems like the trend over the last couple of weeks with the new schedule is that they produce a lot of the Cybertrucks and some of the Model Ys during the Monday through Thursday, and then they spend Friday through Sunday transporting them off-site. And that's, again, what we are seeing here. It's a good zoom in of the Cybertrucks and how this part of the outbound lot looks today. And hopefully there's some new owners that their Cybertrucks are in this picture, and you'll be getting them soon. This is a good view of the north end of the end-of-line facility with more of the Cybertrucks entering in for the processing, and the test track along the west side of the end-of-line with a white Model Y doing some testing at the moment. And the checkout tents with a Cybertruck arriving. And again, I think that they're just sort of catching up from the work week, or at least the production week, and they will repeat this process again next week. So anyway, let's get ready to cross over the highway and resume on the other side. The West Main entrance looks all cleaned up as we saw underway on my previous video, and a nice display of a Model 3 refresh, a Cybertruck with what I think is the camping trailer in the bed, and a Model Y next to the Cybertruck graffiti trailer. So pretty cool to see that. As I bring the drone up farther to the north, a lot of the Model Ys have exited this point that used to be the end of line of the factory. Now this is where they are grouped together and then driven over to the new end of line on the west side. So I don't know if that's carryover from yesterday or not, but it's a pretty decent number of Model Ys for a Friday. So let's continue to fly up to the north, and we'll resume at the north part of the 4680 cell production portion of the factory. Here's a good view of the ventilation ducting and the cooler inlets. And these serve the Evapco units that are installed just underneath the roof in that section of the main structure. And of course, this is the 4680 battery cell portion of the factory with all of the news, information, and updates about the dry cathode process. I think this bodes well for all of the work that they've done on the inside here to expand the production lines from the original 4 to 8. And all of that should be coming online this half of the year. So something to continue to watch. And I think that's great news for the way the production scaling is going to be. In this section here, a few things I want to point out. One, the pipe work with all of the valves and the work that is going on at this portion of the factory, the openings of the wall with some of those black temporary doors, and these new 3 receiving doors. We can see the white bins that are going inside, and I think that there's a permit that talks about doing some paint recycling from this part of the factory, so that may be what we are seeing. I'll have to do a little bit more research to confirm. Of course, next to these castings, we see those 3 cut-in doors in the exterior wall on this part of the casting machine structure. And as I lead the zoom in, it's a great view as we go around the northeast corner. On the left-hand side of the screen, that red and white item is one of the devices that's used to pull the aluminum out of the furnaces once it is melted down just inside the casting machine structure. A good view of the work with the rebar forms and some additional looks like either heavily reinforced or some sort of very large brackets where the workers are next to the wall on the right-hand side of the screen. So that's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. A good view of this formwork and that new receiving door that was cut into the walls, and the baghouse filtration plant, the tank in its catch basin, and the large ductwork that is being installed, plus some additional units on that nearly the top floor. And as I bring the drone up and keep it focused down, this gives you a great view of how this is coming together. Also, all of the semicircular mounts along the east edge of that second floor, and that shows us where the pipe work is going to be going to connect those units on the upper right to the large filtration unit on the left. But a great view from the east looking into that entire baghouse filtration plant, and some additional deliveries on the left getting ready for installation. And also a look back where that formwork and the work by those receiving doors is today. Now, as I continue to fly to the south, I wanted to give you a good view here on these receiving doors, that earthwork section. It is getting work very slowly, but hopefully we'll see concrete there in the near future. And the east main entrance with that glass entryway and how it looks today. And of course, the entire east side of the factory looking past the parking garage to that south where that cooling unit is, where we started earlier. The east testing and calibration lot, now a kind of a storage lot, is very full with Cybertrucks today. As I pull back, a couple of other interesting developments. The Rainmaker with the orange door on the left is still here with some water, so it looks like it's being used. The green generator trailer is back, and the wind tunnel looks like it is doing some sort of testing on this Model 3 refresh, and a couple of Cybertrucks nearby as well. Now, we have seen this wind tunnel being used in the past. At one point, most notoriously testing out the wiper for the Cybertrucks, but it looks like there is some sort of testing underway here for that Model 3 with the wind tunnel. As I pull away, it's a good view back towards the multi-level parking garage, Robotic Avenue, and the intersection here. And of course, a look back at the main factory as well. So let's fly over to the die shop and take a look at what is going on that part of the site today. Some activity next to the crash test facility. We do see more of the vehicles in the upper right where they have had the crash testing. And this is a great view of this facility. Also, those yellow walls on the cathode building, the temporary panels and those 4 little holes, that's for possibly some sort of air conditioning unit. And for today, I'm going to fly back over the roof. I wanted to take a look at the chilling plant. I wanted to see if the vaporizers were frosted over like they were on my previous video. Also a good view of the north end of the die shop. But as we take a look here, we do not see the vaporizers have much frost on them at all. So it may be not being used at the instant that I'm taking the video with the drone. So I'm going to pull back up and take a look towards the switch yard, the electrical switch yard, and passing over the Martin Marietta batch plant. Also a good view of downtown Austin in the upper right as well. What I'm looking for here at the switch yard is to see when, if any, work is being done to expand the transformers to 3. That is something that we've seen. I haven't seen the actual permits, but I did see the authorization for that work. And I know that it is coming based on some of the postings on X that Elon has mentioned as well. It's a good view of some of the wires that are being pulled through the conduit in the bottom right. Much more conduit in the rolls on the dirt waiting for their opportunity to be pulled in. And then just over these trailers, this section shows more of the electrical wires being prepared and pulled through the conduits. Now that's going to go under the ground underneath the power lines and over to where we see this structure under construction. This is kind of a large junction with 4 of the concrete vaults, and then now we're seeing the formwork on top of the slab, and then there's 4 groupings of risers for the conduit that are sticking up into this section. So obviously it'll be electronic equipment installed here, and hopefully with the speed of construction that they're doing right now, we will get a good sense of what exactly that is once they start installing, and hopefully that will be in maybe another week or 2. The conduit that goes underneath Tesla Road appears to be completed. All of the trenching has been filled back in. You can see some of the excess dirt, those 2 concrete vaults, and the conduit that is connected to them that goes under the road. So all that's going to have wiring here very soon. So I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude, kind of give a grand tour of the factory and much of the site from the east looking back to the west. You can see that end-of-line facility, the outbound lot, the west warehouse on wheels on the other side of the highway, of course the main factory, the extension, and the cooling plant on the left, the multi-level parking garage, the east parking area, that testing calibration lot next to that pond where we saw the Cybertrucks, and a lot more. So I hope that you enjoyed what we were able to see today. I do appreciate your support. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.